The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered! You covered 12! Covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. Dave Sharapan, the Book, Matt Perrault, the Bostonian, live on YouTube and Twitter, Sports Grid TV on the replay, and we are a little bit late today.
A little bit.
Because of an important day.
Yes.
How was the orientation at UNLV, Mr. Sharapan? Happy Monday. How are you?
Happy Monday to you too, sir. Boy, you look swimmingly in black and gold. I didn't really realize.
Steelers Day. Chris Mack coming on later on.
How good do you look in that? Yeah, I got all my Pittsburgh hats stacked up. Orientation, back to school. Wow. Brought back so many memories. And at one point, somebody was talking on a screen in a classroom, a wedge classroom, and
a what?
You know, like a wedge auditorium. It was there's room A, room B. I forget what building it is. The Academic Center Studies, something. Right. And I looked at my wife and I said, "We have a second kid in college. Do you believe this?" And then little Kendall was sitting there taking it all in.
Good.
And you know, she's thinking about just skipping middle school and high school and going right to college. So,
well, yeah, it's a good. I mean, it's a cool thing to have, though. No, I mean, I think that's great. I never had that. I wish I did.
Oh,
I was the oldest. I never had any real, other than my brother being born at my college. Like literally, he was born in an apartment. Like that was my experience in college. My brother was a home birth.
Really?
Yeah, he was born at home on the campus of UMass Amherst, where I went to school later. So I would go to parties across the street from the place where my brother was born.
This explains so much again about you and things, and we find out something about each other a lot on this show, and I just found that out about you, and I'm gonna have to have a talk with Mama P.
Oh my!
Next time I speak with her.
20-year-old Mama P having a baby in an apartment.
We're gonna
with no air conditioning in July.
Wow. We are really gonna have to have a discussion next time she comes to town, or we go back to Boston and see her. But I mean, we it was a good morning. I mean, it was raining this morning, so everything was a little bit messed up. And then it wasn't raining. Everything was fine. Found a place to park. Walked by your building.
Green
saw
spot.
that.
Mm.
Yep. Saw the sign. Said, "Oh, that's where Perrault teaches." Professor Perrault, one of the many hats that you wear. We got a big show planned today.
We do. Minty's already here.
Minty is here.
Yeah, we'll bring her on here in just 1 second. So she's already here to help us recap 292. So this is her first appearance on BVB. Very exciting to have her. We'll go to Pittsburgh later with Chris Mack to come on, talk about the Steelers. Just before we get to Minty, just a reminder, Thursday, Friday, live at Circa Sports. Upstairs is where we're going to be for Circa Million and Survivor weekend. So the show probably starts at about 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, in case you're curious. We're both, you know how we are. It's ish. But 11 o'clock Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern on Thursday and on Friday, live from Circa. It should be a lot of fun. Who knows who's going to stop on by? Obviously, Jeffrey.
We're not at the pool.
Not at the pool. So sorry, we're not going to. I did send a DM to Sydney.
Good.
And said, hey, if you want to come on, it's available. So you can come on. The brigade would love to have you. So I don't know if she's going to take us up, but I would say we're upstairs, 11 a.m. I know it's not the pool, but come on by, jump on the show, and have some fun with us. So that may happen.
We're efforting. Let's make, both Angie and
that's as much as I do. I will send a DM to Angie into Sydney, and that's it. I'm not anything else is stalkerish. I'm just going to go ahead and send a message saying if you want to come on,
I'll take care of the rest. You relax.
You can go ahead. All right, you can go ahead.
I'll take care of the rest. We got to go.
You're the married guy in the show, so at least they feel more comfortable with you. Me, they might think other things. So
this ring is like diplomatic immunity. Once you're wearing it, you can pretty much say whatever you want. I had a lot of conversations with a lot of people that I worked with in the casinos for a lot of years about a lot of things. Learned a lot, heard a lot, and I would always go, see ya, going home. I got a wife and 3 daughters. I'm good. See ya. Yeah.
Like you have 2 in college. That's crazy. I can't wait to see your daughter like walking around campus. It's gonna be so fun to be on UNLV and be like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? That's gonna be awesome.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. They did it's a Rebel week. It's Rebel Ready week.
Yep.
There's activities planned all week. They're going.
I don't go near campus till Monday.
That's a smart move. That's that's like for the sharp guys that may or may not be watching the show. Yeah. This is a plus EV move on your part. I like it.
If I don't have to be there, I really don't want to be there.
Right.
All right. Without further ado, let's bring her on. Minty Betts joining BVB for the first time. Hold on, I got to get it all set up appropriately. There we go on this. Moving everything around so we're all clear. Minty, how are you on a Monday? Thank you for joining us.
Of course, I'm doing well. As sad as the hurricane is, by the way, I'm really enjoying the weather we've had in Las Vegas. Like away from the 1,000-degree heat, I actually enjoy the 70-degree, cloudy, cool, rain all day weather because we never get that here. So I'm doing really well.
All right, we're going to get to your trip. We're going to get to the UFC. We're going to get to a bunch of things here. But over the weekend, I tweeted something about mozzarella cheese and marinara sauce, and you chimed in that ranch is an acceptable option. I'm going to give you the forum and let you explain to a lot of people. They're questioning a lot of things about you, Minty. Why is ranch an acceptable option for mozzarella?
Well, just a little background. I hate tomatoes, so I don't.
Wait. I need to ask this now. Raw tomatoes, cooked tomatoes, or anything with tomatoes. There's a big difference. Raw tomatoes, I cannot eat. I'm with you.
Yeah. That's it. Raw tomatoes. I can't. Okay. They always betray me. It makes everything sloppy and soggy, and it always gets on my shirt. Tomato sauce is cool, but I think I just need a little zest, and I think the ranch really zests the mozzarella sticks up compared to marinara sauce. Marinara sauce, I feel like I'm eating just like a plain cheese pizza, which I don't like. So I need a little zing.
Okay.
Nothing bad, but I also, for reference, I also only eat hot dogs with ketchup, and I know that's very controversial.
Oh my goodness!
So I feel like Matt is on board with me.
I am 100%. I'm on board. Now, for those of you who did not see the tweet, this is the tweet. Okay, sorry to block your face off, Minty, but what are these, Dave? I need you to explain what the hell those sticks are, because those are mozzarella triangles. Those are footballs we played with in math class. Playing football. Yes. That's what they look like.
Those are exactly those things. Yes, at the Omelet Cafe, the Sky Canyon location or the Summer location, right. Chef Iggy decided that mozzarella wedges were a little bit different, and they're perfect. They're better than sticks. Yes, so that's what those are. And I mean, the tweet was set
controversial.
It was very controversial. We're up almost over 100,000 impressions, and a lot of people chimed in from all over the world. And you weren't alone, Minty, but the server said, "Do you guys want ranch with that?" And I turned around and said, "Did anybody get a salad?" No, we don't need ranch. I didn't know that it was even an option. Apparently, the Midwest guys in the chat, girls in the chat. This is Minty. Put in the chat whether you think ranch is an acceptable option.
And not only that, but cheese curds, they eat that with ranch. And what is the difference between cheese curds and mozzarella sticks in the Midwest?
I don't know. I need a Wisconsin person because I've never had cheese curds because the name freaks me out. I can't eat it.
It is so good. It's like cheddar cheese nuggets. It's so good.
Yeah. It's a different.
Is it fried? Are cheese curds fried?
Yes. You're missing out, Matt.
They fry everything, man. I swear to God. It's just if it's there, they fry it. I mean, I have had a deep fried Twinkie before. So
delicious. I don't even like Twinkies, but those are so good.
the Iowa State Fair, go see the butter cow and deep fried everything. Like literally whatever you can find, they drop it into a deep fryer.
Yeah.
Go ahead and eat it.
Which state fair can I go to where they deep fry everything? Would it be the Iowa State Fair? Oh,
and then the butter cow is literally sculptures out of butter, like gigantic people, cows, athletes. Yeah, they are very proud of that.
You people in Iowa, what are you talking? Who would even think to do that, Matthew?
I don't know. I went every year. I was there 2 years. I went every year. It was like, you're going to the fair, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the fair. I'll go to the fair. I brought my brother. Colin came with me 1 year to have it. So he was eating everything on a stick, like literally. Barbecue and everything else.
That's good. You know, you got to live your best life. And it might be short, but, you got to live your best life.
Well, speaking of best life, what about this trip that you went on? You went on this Odyssey.
Yes.
Multiple cities. Where were you?
I did. I went on a southern road trip. So I flew to Jacksonville from Vegas and then drove up through Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia. Where else did I go? Oh, Knoxville, and then ended in Nashville the weekend of UFC Nashville. So it was really fun. I had never been to the South before. And honestly, I'm kind of secretly house hunting out there, and I really loved Nashville. Really? So yeah,
Nashville is such a fun place.
It's so fun. And I'm so sick of Vegas. I'm like born and raised in Las Vegas, and I need a change of scenery. So the South is a nice, slower pace. And I really don't take advantage of the city of Las Vegas, like all the dining options and entertainment options. So like, why should I live here?
It's fair. I mean, Broadway and 2nd Avenue in Nashville are just two extremely fun places to go and really cool environment. It's a fast growing city. It's very similar. I've said to Dave before, there's 3 cities in America outside of Boston that I love, that I would love to live in. New Orleans is 1, Nashville is 2, and Vegas is 3. So they're all very similar size. They're all very similar in terms of culture and things to do. And you can get pretty much anything you want, and you can fly anywhere you want as well, which is a huge deal. I lived in the South. I lived in Alabama. I lived in Virginia. It's hard when you're living in Huntsville, Alabama, to find a direct flight anywhere.
Yeah, you're so right. And Nashville has that like sweet spot of like times when sports start. It's like centrally located. You can go west and east, and it'll take like the same amount of time. Also, a lot cheaper going out in like Nashville and New Orleans than Vegas. So
that's very true.
There's a couple guys already saying Minty will take you in Charleston. They're in the chat. They said Charleston, South Carolina. Did you like Charleston, South Carolina?
I loved it, but I was sweating so much. I was not prepared for the humidity. My makeup just melted away. My hair, I curled my hair, and then it just straightens in the humidity. So I'll go in the winter.
Did you like Savannah?
It was gorgeous, but I only had lunch there and then went to Charleston. So it was beautiful.
See, I'm trying to tell Dave we're going to go to Charleston and Savannah, because those are my 2 favorite barbecue spots in the South. I'm a very big fan of the food and cuisine of both Charleston and Savannah, Georgia. So
talking about it for months.
Yeah.
I
did not have a bad meal in the South, and I ate a fried chicken sandwich every day. By the way, the South knows how to fry chicken, guys. So don't miss out on the chicken by eating too much barbecue.
Did you do the Nashville hot chicken? Did you go that route?
Yes. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I highly recommend a place called Puckett's. Not sponsored, by the way, but we could get Puckett's to sponsor us.
We'll take it.
But yeah, super good. Puckett's, a classic place.
Where was that, in Charleston? Where was Puckett's?
It is in Nashville. And I'm sure they have some in Knoxville as well, but I think it's mostly in Nashville, and it's like a family restaurant.
Interesting. Did you like Knoxville?
Loved it. My husband didn't like it so much. He said it was older, but I actually really like Knoxville. And I was, I don't know if you gentlemen know who Morgan Wallen is, but he's from East Tennessee. And I just thought of, if me and Morgan get hitched one day, we would just live there, and I could see it.
The funniest thing is that Morgan Wallen just played Fenway Park, and to watch all these kids and all these people in New England put on their country stuff and start singing Morgan Wallen, like, ain't that some shit, and start talking about country. I'm like, this is the funniest thing in the world. Like, these are a bunch of Boston guys running around talking like they're country. They know nothing about country. I didn't either until I lived in the South, but he just blew out Fenway Park. So yes, you'd like him, Dave. He's good.
He's very good.
It always comes back to Boston, Minty. He always, the name of the show is Bostonian versus the book, and somehow he works the Patriots, the Red Sox, or something Boston into all this. Speaking of Boston, the UFC was just in Boston. What did you take away from that UFC? Anything? Because, I mean, you're doing a great job on the show. You're doing all this stuff. We're all big fans of it. But what did you what was one takeaway you took away from that event on Saturday night in Boston?
I guess overs were the play here, and I had every fight I bet on to end inside the distance. So, yeah, I'm going to stay away from totals for a while. Is what
Except the main event.
Except the main event.
The main event.
Yeah. Well, I had Aljo inside the distance. So
who didn't have Aljo? Everybody. I mean, that was a common play. Were you surprised by?
I was shocked. I'm still shocked to my core, because I do believe that if Aljo had missed that shot by O'Malley, I think Aljo could have won. But I'm not the kind of person to like linger on a fight and be like, he got robbed, and if this happened, this would have happened. You know, I accept it. I think O'Malley is a phenomenal fighter. He's so exciting, and I think he's really great for the brand of UFC, for the young fans and for the new fans. Like, O'Malley is the exciting, explosive fighter that we all believe, if you're a new, UFC fan, to be UFC. It's an exciting mixed martial arts combat sports.
Yeah, the punch was incredible because he practiced it so often, and it is reminiscent of what Conor did to Jose Aldo when he just caught him clean coming in. And look, I thought the stoppage was good. I thought it might have been a little early, but not extremely early. It's a title fight, so sometimes you like to see if the champ can recover. But he was definitely rocked. He definitely didn't know where he was. His head was, eyes was rolling back into his head a couple of times.
Yeah.
What do you make of O'Malley's future? Because he's always been arrogant, cocky, Conor Jr., if you will. But now he's got the belt. The next morning, he's saying to himself, smoking a joint in front of a mirror, saying, I am the man. Where does his stock go from here now that he is the champion and he can say, yes, he is the man?
Well, let's just say he's no longer going to be an underdog anymore, especially one that big. I don't think we're going to see O'Malley as a plus money dog in a while, but I guess that depends who he goes after. Now, as for like defending the belt and retaining it, I don't know. I'm still not sold on O'Malley. I think he really is the kind of fighter who looks for, obviously, like the big impactful shots. And I don't think he's always going to find it. And O'Malley, we know to be a finisher and an exciting finisher. So I don't know. I'm not sold on O'Malley yet, but maybe just because I'm a little salty that, I lost big on Aljo.
You weren't wrong, though. I mean, because I think the handicap was there. It was basically, that's why I bet the under, because it was either going to be a submission by Aljo or a knockout by O'Malley. So I didn't think the fight, surprised. We talked about it last week, Mitty. The Vegas number was 4.5 from a round total perspective, but the East Coast books were at 3.5, and there was a big discrepancy in price, too. So I think everyone assumed the fight was going to go relatively quick, but I thought Aljo just in the first round, I was mad because I thought, oh my gosh, he predicted a first round knockout of O'Malley and he actually went for it instead of using his biggest advantage, which was trying to take him down. Obviously the backtrack is that, well, he had to go ahead. He'll get hit on the way in. And so he was afraid of that. But were you surprised that Aljo didn't wrestle more?
Yeah, I am. And not only did Aljo not wrestle, but if you go earlier to the prelims, the Petrosky and GM3 fight, I thought was going to be on the ground way more, but it was just a stand-up fight between those two, and it was really painful because I had Petrosky. I originally liked GM3 though, so that was really close. But yeah, I think I liked Aljo because he offered more ways to win. He was just more skilled than O'Malley, had more experience. But I guess the 9 straight victories, it had to end somehow, someday, and they just picked this past Saturday to end it.
How did you get into UFC? Like, because it's so like, it's not that like you can't like certain things, but you're a girl, you're a mom, you're like, I'm a dad, I have 3 girls. And how did you say, this is cool, I like this, I'm going to start doing content bets and all this other stuff because I can't get the kids into it? I'm just curious, how did you get into it?
It honestly, and I speak for the public bettors and I speak for the new bettors and the fans. I didn't get into UFC until 2020 when UFC was the only sport to bet on. So I had to shift my focus to combat sports, which obviously I know nothing about and I have never trained in combat sports. So yeah, it was really hard to learn and I'm still learning every day. Just like I've been betting baseball for years since I was 21. I'm 30 now. I still learn every day about how I can improve betting on baseball, betting on the NFL. And I think people don't really talk about that in the betting community, is that like, even though you've been betting for decades, you can still learn new things, and like,
Amen.
it's okay to ask questions, and it's okay to make mistakes and have losing streaks. But yeah, UFC is a very difficult sport to bet on. It's definitely different compared to team sports. And when I first watched, UFC, like for real in 2020, I couldn't watch an entire fight. I was so like scared, like closing my eyes.
Blood.
But now I absolutely love it. And I'm like, yeah, hit harder, So I'm just.
Do you like
it's grown on
boxing
me for
too,
sure.
or do you prefer UFC to boxing?
Oh no, I definitely love watching too. Oh no, I don't like boxing that much.
Okay.
I think it is a very skilled sport, but it's just never been for me. And for me, as a woman who's never played sports growing up, I have no connections to boxing. As for UFC, I have a connection because I had to work in it and I actually fell in love with it. And same with like NFL. We didn't have an NFL team growing up in Vegas, but the Raiders, they're part of me now because they're in my hometown. So that is my connection to NFL and all that stuff. So as a woman not growing up watching sports or playing sports, I have to have a connection to the team or to the sport in order to enjoy it and bet on it.
Minty, when you're watching some of the lower levels, like both tough finals, the two fights that happened on the prelim were both incredible fights. The Bragatona fight was ridiculous. That was one of the best fights. My boxing coach, the guy who really got me into boxing, was Stephan Bonner, and I got kind of depressed afterwards because obviously he passed away recently. But that was harkened back to the Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner fight, where it's just a legendary two guys fighting for contracts. They both got contracts, which was good. But when you're watching the Contender Series and some of the other lower level Apex type fights, how do you like the fact that you're involved in those types of events? Because I feel like your knowledge of the sport and the whole company grows so much faster when you're paying attention to those level sports, those level fights.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first started watching UFC, obviously I just focused on the big names. I was like, well, if I've never heard of this guy's name, why am I going to watch and bet on it? But in fact, the lower level, like entry level fighters are actually some of the best fights and the lines that are the most overlooked. So you can actually make the best bets and the most money with the guys who are, they're their UFC debuts or they're just like 2-3 fights in. Like those are the best fights and they're overlooked, and you want to get at them and bet on them when they're just starting out. Because as we know, as they get bigger and they win more fights, the line's going to be so inflated and just like unbettable.
Is it too late during the night? There's a big complaint from me. We have a lot of people watching the show and they're like, it starts too late. Is it a West Coast thing, like the East Coast time zone?
Just move to Vegas.
Well,
just come here.
Everybody can't move to Vegas, Perrault. Stop telling everybody to move to the traffic.
Mitch is going to move to Nashville. She's going to experience Central Time Zone, so she'll experience how late the fights go on because we get it. 9:30 here is perfect. It's great, but on the East Coast,
but like seriously. It's late back east, and people are up tweeting and watching and stuff, and you were back there in Nashville for an event. Is it too late? Do we need to start it a little bit earlier?
Look, that's so funny because I spoke to my husband about this the other day, and I was like, do you think they're ever going to make fights and games start earlier to cater to the East Coast? And I don't think so, because I actually really love our time zone. And I do think like some games and fights start early, like college football starts at 9 a.m. here. Yeah. And that's insane. As for the fights, I think it is perfect. I wouldn't mind it starting even later because I'm a night owl. Ooh. And I want to watch it until like midnight or so. So maybe this is a good thing that if I'm moving to the Central Time Zone and it'll start later. I do feel bad for East Coasters though, because the main event didn't start till like 1 a.m. Yeah, I can't imagine going to work or going to school the next day and like having it end in 1.5 rounds,
Yeah, it's late. Look, they want the most buys for pay-per-view, obviously, right? So the later, the better that it goes. But I was telling Dave, like when Dana goes back to Boston, he always brings a card that's going to be outstanding. Yes. What'd you make of the co-main? I thought the co-main was really interesting. I have no idea how that fight didn't end inside the distance because I'm with you. I bet Weili and I bet inside the distance, and I was stunned that went to the cards.
I was shocked. Every round I was telling my husband, I was like, there's no way this is going to the cards. There's no way. Zhang looked incredible as always. She is such a powerful fighter. And Lemos, I actually was a little nervous to bet on Zhang because I think Lemos could have upset Zhang. And yeah, my bet was for this to not go the distance and it sucked. But I think that fight was phenomenal. I mean, I was gassed out after like the second round just watching them. But Wei Li, amazing, like position switches and level changes. She's so quick. She's got such high fight IQ. Her strength is off the charts. And Lemos, you can't overlook this, even though she wasn't able to successfully defend most of those takedowns. I mean, she was a beast defensively, fending off the submissions and the knockouts. So I very much enjoyed it. I just wish my bet hit, but we knew Zhang was going to win.
Oh yeah, she was unbelievable. That I thought she was out at one point, and then she flipped a hold or something, and I thought she was going to submit her. That was impressive to watch. All right, last one for me before Matt gets one more in, maybe, and lets you go. We've been telling people for months the traffic here in Vegas has been just absolutely terrible. Are you a good driver? Or can you deal with traffic well, or are you one of these people like most of us that go, why are we sitting in this traffic and what is going on with our city?
Well, to be completely honest, I'm such a hermit crab and I live, I mean, I think Matt knows where I live. I live right across your daughter's school, like literally right across the street. So I don't leave that Summerlin area. I don't leave Summerlin unless I have to. So I haven't been dealing with the traffic. However, I did hear that the strip is just awful because of the Formula One repaving. But it's really always awful anyway, in the strip area. As for drivers, I think there have been a lot of crappy drivers lately, just like speeding, tailgating, cutting you off, not using their signals. Like no one really drives safe anymore. And I don't want to be that Las Vegan who's like, yep, it's the Californians, but it is.
It is.
And I hate it. And that's also why I don't go out, is because I don't want to deal with all that road rage. But yes, I am a very good driver. Like I could drive for the Pope if he hired me. Really? I'm very safe. And I just jet around my Subaru all over town if I need to. But typically I'm just home and I tell my husband to go get things if I need to.
We've got to work on the Subaru thing, Minty. Come on now. I rant on Subarus here on this town. It does work, but I have a very strong opinion on Subarus. Last question. You brought up F1. First question, why did you get into F1? And secondly, is Max Verstappen just going to win this race coming up in November? There's no point in even watching this thing because he wins every race.
Well, I wouldn't say there's no point in watching it. It is boring because Max Verstappen is just so dominant and such a fast driver with such a great car. And I do think he's going to win like every race for the rest of the year. However, in order to make money and bet on F1, you gotta look at the head-to-head matchups or the top 3, top 6, top 10 finishes. So that's how you're really going to make your money. Although we do wish that there was an upset in the race. I still hope. And as for F1, how I got into it, well, I think it was just during COVID. It was during COVID and I watched Drive to Survive. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I didn't know F1 was so big and so popular and that they raced in America. And also what really got me is a Thai driver named Alex Albon, who did race for Red Bull at one point. His career with Red Bull was cut short. Now he races for Williams with Logan Sargent, our American driver. And because I'm Thai and he represented Thailand, I just got hooked on it. That's my connection to that sport now, is because there's only one Thai driver in Formula One, and I think there has only ever been one, and that's him. So I'm just really proud to root for him, even though he's never won. And I just love the sport. It's so exciting. And once you get to know all the drivers from Drive to Survive and follow their social media pages, they're really exciting and really funny. And I feel like I know them almost.
Wow.
Minty,
let me ask real quick from the chat. Moonoff is here, and he said there's no chance that Minty is a night owl. What would you say? He said there is no chance, and he just wants you to clear the record for him. You can look right into the camera and talk to him directly.
When I say night owl, I stay up till midmidnight, maybe 1,
Okay,
that's not bad.
a night owl.
Yeah, but I also wake up at 6 a.m.
Right.
So because my daughter wakes up at 6 a.m. So I really never sleep. So I only sleep 6 hours.
Amen to that. I know that life.
Yeah. But I mean, if you guys are familiar, when you've had toddlers and stuff, I mean, sleep was hard to come by. And when they finally went to sleep, when the kids finally went to sleep, you just wanted a couple hours to yourself to like woo-saw and clean the house or just watch TV. And that's what I do. That's why I stay up so late. is because I just need me time.
Amen to that. That is, yes, 9 to midnight. I completely agree. I'm the same way. Those 3 hours I would not trade for anything. Those are my hours.
Exactly.
You're in sleep, my hours. Minty, let's do this again soon. All right. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Love you guys. And yeah, I'll be back on whenever you have me again.
Let's do it again for sure. That is Minty Betts at Minty Betts. Follow her on Twitter. You guys have to check her stuff out. That was a lot of fun to get her on BVB.
I'm such a good driver. I could drive for the Pope. We're going to put that on a t-shirt.
That's pretty good, right?
That's a good driver.
Okay.
If
hold on.
You can say that.
I need to just 1 second here because there's somebody in my house, I think. So
somebody in your house?
Yeah, it's okay that they can.
Shot?
No, they're allowed to be here, but they weren't supposed to be here until 2:00. So this is. I just need to go ahead and check and see if they're actually upstairs or not because my dogs I think are loose, and so
why don't you just get up and go see rather than text?
Well, I'm texting. I have video cameras all over my house, so I can look and see who's here and who's not. So let me just go ahead and see who's around.
Don't need any surprise appearances or the dogs attacking.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of.
Believe me, I know. And then there's a lawsuit, and then there's all kind of things. So if you need to go up, I'll talk to the people directly before we get to Mac later.
Let me just make sure I can. The beautiful thing. Let's just see. Hopefully they. I don't know if because I heard them come in the door, and then
in the door.
They did. I don't know if they didn't open the door, which is good. Okay, so I think we're good. They didn't answer. They didn't open the door, so I think that's good. So,
all right,
because I'm fairly confident that the key is under my door by mistake. I forgot to somebody had to get them in the house, and I put the key into the door, and I never went and got it. So I was like, I think they're going to end up coming in the house. And I heard the dogs freaking out, and I was like, I don't think I put the dogs away. This could be really bad.
I don't like the sounds of any of this right now. It's going to get very loud upstairs.
I think we're good. They're not there as far as I know. If I hear them, I'll run upstairs and we can go ahead and do that. So that was a lot of fun. So in about 15 minutes, Chris back in Pittsburgh, we'll stop on by and we'll have some fun with that. The F1 stuff is so wild because I get why. I mean, being here in Vegas, getting involved in the UFC is pretty simple. It's pretty easy. It's all over the place. You drive down 215 and the gigantic Apex has an ad on the side of every pay-per-view on the side of the building.
Yes.
The F1 thing was really, it's so cool that she really got into it and she bets it a lot. And if it wasn't for my time doing Sports Grid, I never really would know much about the Max Verstappen situation. But we interview people who are on Sports Grid, who are NASCAR and F1 experts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Max Verstappen. It's the same every single race. It's like
we went down to sign someone up at Circa, and Scott, that guy, he said to me, "Hey, are you betting the F1? Just bet Verstappen."
Yeah,
I was like,
"Oh, automatic."
It really has become one of those automatics. So yes, that was.
He's won 8 of 10 races. I think it is. It's not even
seven in a row, then lost one, and then won again, and then I don't think he won the last one, something like that. But yeah, 8 of 10, 7 straight. Those are. I mean, it's just like when the Dodgers were winning, right? You just bet the Dodgers until they lose. They win 11 in a row.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
For you guys who are curious, we didn't talk about the hurricane much with Minty because there was no hurricane in Vegas. There was rain, but there was no hurricane.
Yeah. I got these things, sandbags holding stuff down. I was put all the furniture in the back away, locked it up, waiting for this wind that never came.
Yeah, it was weird. So a lot of rain on the mountains and there's massive problems going on. So if you guys who are watching, if you're by Mount Charleston, I'm not saying you guys aren't dealing with problems because you got 6 inches of rain up there. And there's been massive flash floods. I know the National Guard currently it's on Mount Charleston. It's all closed. You can't go anywhere near the drive up it.
Right.
They've got Humvees and everything else kind of blockading everything. So helping the people who live up there because there are people who live up there.
And the clouds were so low.
Yeah.
Like there's very few times during the year where you can really see the clouds, to the west of us where we live up here.
Mm.
You look over and you're like, man, I can't even see the mountains. There's nothing. The clouds were so low. And when it's like that right up the road at Mount Charleston, Kyle Canyon and all that other stuff, it snows. Like it gets.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Boom.
I tell people all the time, like if you are missing snow, you can go to Mount Charleston. You can go skiing up there. I mean, there's a ski resort up there. So
snowboarding, skiing, all
it's
that
cool.
other stuff. So, it's 45 minutes from the strip. Maybe
it's unbelievable.
An hour.
It's wild. All right, what happened last night? The Red Sox swept the Yankees. Did you know the Red Sox are 8-1 this year against the Yankees? 8-1.
Tell the people again, just in case they missed.
Worst record for the Yankees since 1995. 8 straight losses. And no one's been fired yet. Everyone has their job. No one's been blasted. Aaron Boone is up there going like, it is what it is. We're trying our hardest. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, really? You got worked over by the Red Sox at home. The Red Sox suck. And you're getting worked. Oh, what is going on in New York? This is embarrassing.
Yeah. What's the stat you have that are worst record since 1995?
Yep.
We said it last week. They're going to finish under 500.
Talk to the people. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hear something.
Somebody's in his house right now. He said we got to be done today by a certain time because he had somebody coming over. You guys know when they give you a window to come over, whether it's to fix something or do something, they give you a window. His window was supposed to be 2 to 4. Somebody showed up at 12:30. We had to do the show at 12:30 because I was in a freshman orientation like Rodney Dangerfield going back to school with Middleton Sig. So I can't wait to see. He got to keep them dogs away. Them dogs are about this big, just so you guys know. Little tiny dogs, Cujos. They're Cujos. You got to be very careful when you go over there. So I hope everything's going to be okay here for a minute. This is killing him. You guys don't know. He's wondering, what is Dave saying to the people right now? This is great because he'll watch it back later and go, see, it's not that easy to just talk for a whole show because he did 3 hours. He's not letting Sydney in. Who said that? SoCal DJ. Sydney is not there, although he did DM her. Hopefully she will be there Thursday and Friday. Guys, don't forget, if you're in town, come to the show. Thursday, Friday, 3rd floor ballroom, Circa Sports, Circa Resort, but we're up on the 3rd floor. And it's going to be similar to what we did at the pool, but a little bit different. And I'm going to get some hats done. Are you okay, sir? Why are you shaking your head? What's wrong?
There's no people upstairs.
There's no people upstairs?
No, there are 3 people upstairs doing work on the house. All
right.
It's fine.
Just woosah, just like Minty said. Woosah. just.
But the dogs were like attacking me. I was trying to get them into like they were freaking out because there's 3 strangers in the house.
Those dogs, I'm not sure they like you. They don't like
anybody.
People. They don't.
They were really mad. I was trying to like get the dogs into the crate because they wanted to attack one of the people here to do the work. And I was like, I'm really sorry. You guys are supposed to be here at 2. And they're like, yeah, we got done early. So we just figured we'd come over and do it. And I was like, yeah, but I'm on the air. Sorry. So like, frustration. Why is everything chaos? Like, why can't everything just do what you're supposed to do?
It's fine.
2 o'clock, supposed to be here at 2 o'clock. When we're off the air,
they're early.
They're 2 hours early.
Well, they're never early. To consider that a win. You've already won. They'll be done before they're supposed to be 2. And you'll be able to just relax. It's fine.
Okay. Anyways,
back to the Red Sox.
Red Sox start a huge series with Houston today. Did you know the Boston Red Sox are only 3 games behind the Astros in the loss column?
Here we
go. For the second wild card.
Here we go.
The second wild card. They're actually like not the 3rd wild card. They might actually get the 2nd wild card.
In one of our 6 phone calls yesterday, and I think the number was 6. If I go back and look at the call history, you go, sorry, Will, the fucking Red Sox are going to make the playoffs.
I can't believe
And I go, hi. And you're like, they're going to make the playoffs.
How? They're not good. How?
Oh, here we go.
I mean, they're not good. The Red Sox record against the American League East is unbelievable. It doesn't make any sense how they are against the division.
They're
the
as
Red Sox
as they've been all season right now.
They're 19-14 against the division.
That's good. That's that 5 games over 500 in your division will likely get you in. It's not the best division in baseball, but it's close.
It's the fewest losses. Only the Orioles have 14 losses, the Rays have 14 losses, and the Red Sox have 14 losses. They got 5 more games coming up and they get to the division versus what Baltimore has. Baltimore's played 5 more games in the division than the Red Sox have.
Well, they've destroyed the Yankees, sir. When you
and
own a team,
yeah.
you know, who's calling who daddy this year? I mean, right?
8-1. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And no one's been fired yet. When I was growing up,
fire people all the time. You don't have to fire anybody.
If
just
the Red Sox
your
were 8-1 against the Yankees, heads would roll. Like it would be.
If the Yankees were 8-1 against the Red Sox, you mean?
No. If the Red Sox had an 8-1 record against the Yankees,
they do.
Yes, people would be getting fired in 2000, 2010, 2015. Are you kidding me? This would have been a catastrophic thing happening to the Yankees if they were 1-8 against Boston. They're lucky they only play 4 more times. The Red Sox could wind up 13-1 against the Yankees.
I'm good with that.
Or 12-1.
I like this. I like the schedule. Do you like this new baseball schedule?
I hate it.
What do you mean you hate it?
I hate it.
Why?
Because I want more divisional games.
Oh, come on. I like the fact they play everybody, and the division games mean more.
You have 30 teams. You can't play everybody. It's ridiculous. You're trying too hard. You don't need to do it.
Wow. Moonoff just came in and said, last season, the Red Sox were 26-50 in the division.
That's impossible.
26-50 in
against the American League, you mean? Not the American League East, the American League?
American League East. No, you play 70. You play 76 games.
Against the American League East? No, you don't. You played 19 last year.
What's 19 times 4?
What are you talking about? Against the American League East, what was their record?
26-50.
That doesn't make it. Last season, the Boston Red Sox against the American League East, they played 19 games last year against the division.
Each team in the division.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I think the Red Sox themselves.
The Red Sox played all 4 teams in the division 19 times. 19 times 4, 76. 26-50. Add the numbers up. They played the Yankees 19 times. They played the Orioles 19 times.
Okay.
They played the Rays.
Okay.
Do you guys see the wheels going off in his head with the math?
Yeah. So hold on. So now that means the Red Sox have only played. They'll only play 33 games so far. So they're going to play what, 30 some odd games?
Matthew, 13 times 4 is 52.
Right. So they have 20 more games against the division to come. Wow, that's a lot.
They have 19. Yes,
that's a lot.
It's very important. That's why I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but they're playing well in the division. So that means that
they could.
Yes, I think they are very well likely to make the playoffs. Yes.
Wow. That's interesting. Seattle.
I'm watching your head work right now. The people are watching your head work and going,
I'm just
dying.
Confused.
Jimmy Jack is dying.
I'm confused by that number.
The light bulb moment. J. Dow Betts is the emoji across. People, he's not good at the math. He's good at everything else.
But I didn't understand. I guess I just wasn't putting the math together that it's 4 times 19. Because I was like, wait, you play each team 19 times against the division. So they play. Well, okay. See, I hate that. So it's 13 times 4 now? That stinks.
That's better. What do you mean?
No, that stinks.
Those games are even more important now.
No, it's 24 less games against the division now. That stinks. I hate that. That sucks.
6 times 4. You did the math. Yeah. 24. That was good.
See? I did that. Ding. That stinks. I don't like that at all. I want those games back. I don't need to see the Red Sox play like, I don't know, the Marlins. I don't need that. That's bad. I want to see the Red Sox play teams against the East. More Yankee games.
We get
it's more fun.
Matchups.
It's more fun to play the Yankees.
Listen,
more fun to play the Blue Jays. More fun to play.
We get it for years. We got enough of Red Sox Yankees.
That's not our fault. That's not my fault that ESPN drove it down everyone's throat.
Oh, it was way too much.
Yeah, it was. I agree. It was way too much. Dallas Keuchel had a perfect game going into the 7th inning yesterday.
Damn it!
Like how? Dallas Keuchel. This is ridiculous.
Is this where you're going to say something and besmirch the Pirates? Is this what you're going to do?
Well, your lineup stinks, but that's your fault. It was crazy.
I had nothing to do with that lineup. I just it's where I'm from. It's nighttime in Pittsburgh.
What were you on yesterday on that game? Because I took Pirates team total over 4.5, and they almost got no hit. They got shut out 2-0.
No, there was no pick for the Sunday game. I didn't have to do the Sunday game because the Sunday day game, they've realized that what you've realized, throw everything out the window on Sunday baseball. It's so hard.
Yeah, Dallas Keuchel almost was a perfect game. That's how wonky Sunday is. A guy with an ERA of 9.5 last year comes in, those almost a perfect game. Went seven into the 7th inning with a no-hitter. Crazy.
Yeah, I get the alert after the 6th on the MLB app. Dallas Keuchel was a perfect game, and I'm like, oh no. And Jess goes, what? I said, it's a guy pitching a perfect game in MLB. She's like, do you want to turn it on? I'm like, it's against the Pirates. She goes, oh. And then Kendall over on the couch is like, I told you the Pirates stink. I told you they're no good. They're this, they're that.
Dallas Keuchel stinks. What's going on?
Listen, they're running away with the division. The Twins are the Twins are in the playoffs.
Yeah, but Dallas Keuchel was unhittable, literally unhittable yesterday. Like, I was like, what planet am I watching? This is ridiculous. This guy flamed out of the league with 3 teams last year, had a whip over 2, and this guy winds up throwing almost a perfect game. He was completely in control of that entire game, then gives up a double, and they yanked him like they should have. They win the game 2-0. But I thought the Pirates were going to hit him hard because the start before that, he gave up 6 earned runs.
I know.
So I was like, there's Dallas Keuchel. There's a Dallas Keuchel we know and love. Okay, Pittsburgh, let's go. And they get blanked.
Apparently, he's not striking anybody out.
He's not he only had 3 Ks.
So, so future reference, maybe not worry about the total or just bet the K prop under because I don't think he doesn't have the swing and miss stuff anymore. And whatever pitch he's using as the out pitch with 2 strikes, they're hitting.
Right.
So just put that in the notes for SoCal DGen or, Akbar, anybody. I don't want to give Joe C. Myers another job. Joe C's doing an unbelievable job with the Angels. So,
well, the timing is good because you already talked Pittsburgh football with the guy, Chris Mack.
Oh my gosh. I mean, he was so fired up when I got. You
ready?
Look at this guy.
Let's get it all set up here
C-Mac.
for Mr. C-Mac on the program. Chris, Matt, and Dave, how are you? What's going on? How are things in Pittsburgh?
Great, boys. It's a steamy one out there, which means we'll be out by the pool in a couple of minutes, enjoying the last couple of days of summer for the kids before they head back to school next week. Dave, I know yours were back this week, so yep. Go back. Daddy's got important things or things that he's going to pretend are important to do.
Are you tired of summer vacation? I mean, it's fun having the kids at home, but like when the time comes, like this time of year, we started school. We're in week 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're in full swing.
We start a little early, but we're done on Memorial Day. You happy to see the kids go back to school, C-Mac, truthfully?
Yeah, truthfully, yeah. I'd keep the weather if I could. I would. Yeah. I'd keep the weather, but I mean, they need to get back to school, spend time with your friends, get back into the swing of things. Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's always that first. We just went through it. You're going to go through that first week of getting them up to go to school.
Oh, it's brutal. I love those people too, Matt, that pretend like I saw this a couple weeks ago. It was like a WebMD article or something in Google. And it's like, oh, start preparing your children for the start of the new school year by putting them to bed 10 minutes earlier every night. And you find somebody who claims that that's worked, I will find you a bald-faced liar.
Yes!
Okay?
And you can swear too, by the way.
You can say whatever you want on here.
I know, but I'm trying to control myself.
That's fine. No, we got editors for that. You're absolutely right. That is complete bullshit. And really, the week before is the harder week than the actual week of.
Right.
So I reach out to you and I say, hey, do you got time to do the show today? And you said the quote you used, you were all lathered up after Saturday. I mean, the city is making plans, not just to come to week 3 in Vegas for the Steelers here.
Right.
They're making plans. Your man Pony's talking about making Super Bowl plans and winning division. Like, come on.
And Pony's one thing. I said to somebody the other day, he's never met a superlative he didn't want to, mount. But here's the thing. A Saturday night about 7:00 our time, boys, I was kind of right there with them. I'll be honest. It was.
You're drinking juice? Are you in over season wins? Are you in?
I'm sipping the scissor just a little bit here. Here's the thing. Like, it's preseason, and so everything's taken with a giant grain of salt. I get it. But Kenny Pickett looks really good. And the offense as a whole, more importantly, looks really good. Like, people today want to debate. I just heard those guys, Pony and Muller and Donnie Football, debating Jaylen Warren versus Najee Harris. I don't have time for that debate because Jaylen Warren's a third down back and happened to have a hole the size of Bridgeville to run through. Yes. And he ran through it. And he turned it into a 60-some yard touchdown run. That's what your change of pace guy is supposed to do. Najee gets 8 stacked in the box, 9 stacked in the box every time, beats his head against a wall, and keeps the defense honest. So I'm not here for that argument. What I am here for is everything looking just a little bit better than I expected it would, right? Pickett's on point, 9 for 11 on 3 drives. Each of them's ended in a touchdown so far, and pretty throws too. Go back and watch the touchdown throws. The one to Pickens in Tampa. Okay, it's Tampa's second team defense. Again, large grain of salt. But look at that throw against Buffalo's first team defense. That's Jordan Poyer sitting in the middle there, and he drops an absolute seed where only Freiermuth can get it. Then you got other weapons coming along. You know, Pickens obviously is one of them. I think he's primed for a huge year. This Darnell Washington kid from Georgia is 6'13" and has the feet action of a wide receiver. The guy can run routes, and he's an absolute mountain of a human. They got plenty of weapons, and here is the cherry on top of the preseason Sunday, as it were. They shut down Josh Allen. And he had like 30 yards in 3 drives. Yeah. I mean, that for me, and look, Buffalo took a ton of penalties. They looked out of sync. Now you got Diggs mouthing off, I guess, about, whether I don't know how accurate some of that stuff is, but maybe he wants out. Buffalo could be in trouble. So there's a lot to take away from that one game in particular. But for Steeler fans, I think you feel good. You feel good about the fact that Hayward, Fitzpatrick, and Watt and Peterson got their work in and got out. The offense looked good. And I think you feel pretty good. I feel good. I would have taken over 8.5 on the win total anyway, because I think it's a 9-win team. The books, I think the same thing, that it's a 9-win team because they juiced the hell out of it at 8.5 to the over. But now, I mean, if you're going to jump on it right now, it's anywhere between 130 and 140, plus 130, plus 140 to make the playoffs. If you are sipping the scissor like most Steeler fans are right now, now's the time to jump on it. Because if they go out there and beat San Francisco week 1, it's not going to come down. And then they got it. What do you mean and then they got, well, that's a hell of a defense, Dave. And we know how the Steelers do.
Steelers and under. That's it.
Okay. I'm glad you're that confident. I'm still pumping the brakes. I'm still maintaining. It's like when you went to a party back in college and you immediately stepped on the gas and did like a keg stand and pounded, State College, right? You go to the saloon, you throw back a monkey boy, and before you know it, you don't remember your name, and you're just standing there in the corner trying to maintain. That's what we're all doing here in Pittsburgh, Steelers Nation. We're drunk off preseason football, and we're just trying to maintain. Just got that little wobble going to us.
All right. Can this defense, because we've seen it very recently, can they withstand a TJ Watt injury? Because it feels like
don't even say that.
Well, I'm going to say it because it happens every year. Okay. Can they withstand a TJ Watt injury? Because when he's gone down the last 2 years with injury, the defense has fallen apart. Can they withstand it this year?
Ask yourself if the Browns can withstand a Myles Garrett injury, or the Niners can withstand a Bosa injury, or the same in LA with the Chargers or the Rams and Aaron Donald. I think anybody loses that kind of defensive player of the year caliber guy, they're going to be in trouble. Steelers went 1-6 without him last year. I think they've got a little bit more depth at outside linebacker this year. Highsmith showed that he could step up a little bit last year. They go out and they draft Nick Herbig out of Wisconsin, undersized, but looks really good in camp and preseason. Marcus Golden. They got players there that if they were to lose TJ Watt for 7 games this year, I don't think they'd go 1-6. Maybe they go 2-5 or 3-4, right? But you're never in good hands if you lose a guy the caliber of TJ Watt for a month and a half.
Make the playoffs. All right, let's look at this real quick, because New England Patriots to make the playoffs, the no is -325, and the Pittsburgh Steelers to make the playoffs, the no is -160. I know you know the odds, and I know you know that on Thursday, December 7th, the Patriots are playing at the Steelers. I've been telling Perrault that there is almost zero chance that the Patriots are coming. I'm still calling it Heinz Field. I don't buy this.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no chance the Patriots are coming to Pittsburgh and winning that game on Thursday night, 1. And 2, which one of those teams would you pick to make the playoffs?
I'm heavily fading the Pats this year. I mean, their big offseason acquisitions are Juju Smith-Schuster and Ezekiel Elliott.
Welcome. How are they going to like the Juju show about?
Welcome to 2017, Bill Belichick. I don't know what. These are not the.
They're backups though, right? Those are backup guys. Those aren't star acquisitions. Like they're not building the whole team around those two guys.
I understand, Matt, but where's the juice in this offense? I don't see it
in the running game,
especially not with Mac Jones at quarterback. I'd love to have a good old fashioned.
Kenny Pickett. You're talking about Mac Jones?
Kenny Pickett. You're comparing Kenny Pickett and Mac Jones?
Yes, they're very similar quarterbacks. Yes,
Mac, tell him.
Absolutely comparing the two of them. 100%. You know what? One guy can actually play in the cold weather and not wear gloves.
I don't care if he wears snowshoes on his hands. If he throws touchdowns, he can wear whatever the hell he wants on his hands.
We'll see how that goes. Jury's still out on that.
I'll be honest, Matt. Like I appreciate your loyalty and dedication to the cause. I don't see. I mean, again. Large grain of salt. And look, I was one of those guys who wasn't necessarily on board with taking Pickett in the first round. But he grew by leaps and bounds, I think, in the second half last year. If he makes the kind of throws that he made against Indy, that he made against Vegas, that he made against Baltimore, if he makes those throws more routinely this year, then they're, again, a heavily juiced 9-win team that has a chance to win 10 if everything goes right. I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Steelers are winning the Super Bowl. Like, I'm not going over the top with this thing.
No.
But I look at the Patriots and I see lots of question marks about how many points they're going to score. And I don't know. In that division, I'm not I'll paraphrase or begin all of this with, I am fading Aaron Rodgers big this year. I don't believe in the Jets.
If you're fading the Bills and you're fading the Jets, if Tua gets hurt,
Dolphins. If Tua gets hurt, I mean,
so then you're right in line.
So everyone goes 9-8, and somebody's got to make the playoffs, right?
Right, but the Patriots going 9-8 is over their win total, and they're in the conversation of making the playoffs.
But we're talking about quarterbacks getting hurt. We're talking about Diggs holding out and not wanting to play. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers looking like a 40-year-old, which he'll be in a month and a half.
Don't forget that Mac Jones made the Pro Bowl in 2022, and he has a new offensive coordinator that's going to run an offense that's very confident. That's very good to him.
That's the one redeeming quality here. He actually has an offensive coordinator this year.
Facts.
So I will be curious to see how that affects things. I don't see the playmakers there. And you make it's an interesting comparison. Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett. I think Pickett is incrementally better than Mac Jones because I was that underwhelmed by Jones last year. You could use your argument about the offensive coordinator. I would say, well, Kenny Pickett had Matt freaking Canada calling things for him last year. So neither one of them had Don Coryell playbook to work with.
Definitely not.
But I will say this. I think Pickett's got better weapons. George Pickens.
Look, people are sleeping on this, though. Don't forget about what the Patriots have done with tight ends, and Mike Gesicki is going to be a monster addition. You talk about the big acquisitions. Mike Gesicki could be the biggest weapon upgrade for the Patriots.
We love Gesicki, don't we?
Yeah. No, I'm a Gesicki fan. Penn State guy, exactly.
I mean, you have Devontae Parker, you have Kendrick Bourne, you have Mike Gesicki, you've got options. It's not okay. I'll give you the weapons for the Steelers are better, 100%. I mean, the Pickens, the Pickens could wind up being an all-pro type wideout. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's really, really good. So I'll give you that. I like but the Patriots and the Steelers are going to play very similar football games. There's going to be a lot of 19-17 games in their future.
Mac, if we come back for that game, will you come be on the show? If we come and do a show, we're going to go to the game.
Yeah.
You know, a guy could maybe hook up a tailgate and all this other stuff. Can we make that happen?
I mean, I can call some people. I know a few people here and there.
I mean, we're trying.
We're trying.
But it fits perfectly for a Thursday night Patriots Steelers.
Yeah.
It needs to happen.
I'd love to have that, though. I mean, I'd love to have the Patriots and Steelers battling for playoff positioning there, giving us some of those old Ben Brady type vibes. Sure.
Yes.
I'll take it. And
well,
maybe
you
we
need
see
revenge.
Then.
You don't want Ben Brady type vibes because then we're walking in and we're winning. So you don't want Ben Brady type.
I don't think
want that.
I don't think Al Riveron's still running the replay center. So we'll see about that.
And your defense is not the same exact defense every single time Brady drops back to pass. So that's good.
Right.
The zone is gone.
Stop with the Patriot reliving all the stuff, please. Let's swing it for a minute to this. C-Mac, Perrault has a college football season win total play. And he has been talking about Penn State and Bruce Feldman's report. We talked about it last week. They got more freaks than anybody. Excitement is so high.
It is
for the boys up in State College and us returning to glory. How do you feel? Why did you do that? You're excited about Penn State and their season win total going over 9.5. Are you not? What?
I definitely over 9.5.
Okay.
Definitely over 9.5.
They're going to beat Michigan at home, please.
That's the thing. Here's what I'm worried about. Here's where I see absolute hell breaking loose and chaos happening.
Don't say it.
Penn State beats Ohio State on the road, right? Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huge win, right?
Undefeated going into that game, win and stay undefeated?
Undefeated going into the Michigan game.
Okay.
But Michigan's a wagon this year, I think. I really so they lose to Michigan, okay?
Okay.
Fair. So now we've got undefeated Michigan, we've got one loss Ohio State to Penn State, and Penn State with one loss to, well, Michigan. Then comes Michigan, Ohio State. And what does Harbaugh do in big moments?
Loses.
Exactly. And then we get Ohio State beat Michigan. All three have one loss. It's a merry-go-round of losses. Let me tell you who's going to lose in that scenario. Unfortunately, as much as I hate it, our guys lose in that scenario.
We go back to the Outback Bowl in that situation.
Hold on. I mean, because the way the Big Ten, I'm not sure the Big Ten tiebreaker is, but wouldn't it? I mean, common opponent would come into play, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the Big Ten even has tiebreakers, Matt. They may put cows in a field and see which one tips over first.
I think the Big Ten added another team right before we started the show. Well, what the hell is going on?
I do think all three teams are really evenly matched. I think Michigan is the favorite there, but I mean, you tell me over on the win total. Yes, absolutely. There are a bunch of athletic freaks up there. The fact that you get Fashanu back staying to play left tackle for another year when he should have been a top 10 pick in the draft is enormous. Right. That's huge for Drew Aller, giving him time to work from the pocket and occasionally break loose and make something happen. I like him to go 11-1. I do. And that's not, but again, I don't know if 11-1 gets him in the playoff, depending on how all things shake out.
12-1 does though, but not 11-1. They got to win the Big Ten then.
They probably got to win the Big Ten championship game, and you have to hope that Georgia doesn't have, Georgia has nothing on the schedule. So Georgia's going into the SEC title game undefeated, most likely, unless something weird happens in Knoxville in late November. So you're probably getting two SEC teams again, right? You're getting Bama or LSU and Georgia. And there you go. And then we're not even talking about what happens if USC has a decent season out west, or if Clemson and Florida State, they're battling back and forth. ACC title winner gets in. You're absolutely right, Matt. They gotta win the Big Ten championship game, and they got to go into the Big Ten championship game with one loss or fewer.
What is the feeling? Dave mentioned it, but are people in Penn State country, are they happy that they'll go to a road game on the West Coast? Do they like the fact that they're going to play West Coast football as a conference game?
I think they like the idea of USC being in the conference. Obviously, UCLA is a different animal. Oregon and Washington are kind of here nor there. But I think what's key, and Dave, you're a couple years older than me, not much, but a couple years older, is Penn State fans of our age in particular remember what it was like to be the redheaded stepchild of the Big Ten for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, Rutgers and Maryland are what they are. Nobody really looks at Rutgers and Maryland as Big Ten schools. They've kind of taken on that redheaded stepchild mantle in the Big Ten. Yes. I think Penn State is looking forward to actually, feeling like a legit Big Ten school maybe for the first time ever. It's been 35 years. Is that No, 30 years or so since they officially joined. Yeah, so 30 years exactly since they joined the Big Ten. The year after they joined, they got screwed by Nebraska out of a national title.
Absolutely right. Sausage King was here over the weekend. He was telling me about it. Nebraska fans.
Could Johnny Carter would still be running against Oregon if there was a door at the end of the Rose Bowl. So I don't know. I think Penn State fans are just looking forward to actually feeling like a Big Ten blue blood. Like they've been a college football blue blood forever, but we're on the inside looking out now at the newbies coming into the Big Ten. I don't know.
Kind of nice.
Yeah, it is kind of nice.
What about the other school in Pittsburgh, or the school in Pittsburgh, Pitt? Mm-hmm. Where are they going to end up? We were talking. Matt's a college football guy and a college guy, and I love college football, college sports. What's Pitt going to end up? They better jump to a conference, because I don't think the ACC is much for future there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Because look, Florida State and Clemson are hanging around for now in North Carolina, but I think you give it another year or two, Florida State will find the money to get out and still support their programs. North Carolina and Clemson will probably take some tips and some pointers from Florida State, right? So we're a couple years away from those three effectively breaking up the ACC. Notre Dame, then who knows what happens with them, but it leaves you with somewhere around 11 or 12 ACC schools. What's better at that point? Like adding South Florida, and I don't know, who else would you add to the ACC at that point? And you start to look a little Conference USA-ish.
True.
Yes.
So I agree. I think Pitt really needs to be proactive. The one thing I worry about, Dave, and this is flown under the radar just a little bit here because it's summertime and people aren't paying as much attention to the second page stories, is Gene Smith's hanging him up at Ohio State a year from now, right? He's said, I'm retiring a year from now. Where did Heather Lyke work for a decade and a half under Gene Smith? Columbus. Heather Lyke, the AD at Pitt, if she gets a sweet offer from Ohio State a year from now, she gone. Right. And I think that puts Pitt in a precarious position if they're working on jumping somewhere or making something happen. I'd love to see them, and the Big 12 has been really aggressive. I don't hate moving to the Big 12. Reigniting that rivalry with West Virginia, the backyard brawl on a yearly basis, having some other nice matches. Is it a ton of travel? Yeah. But they have the Olympic sports programs. That's one thing Heather Lyke has done a great job of. They have the non-revenue generating programs to compete in the Big 12, whether they're playing volleyball in Waco on a Tuesday or soccer in Tempe on a Friday or whatever it may be. They can compete. They've done a great job with the Olympic sports, Heather Lyke has. So I think that would make a ton of sense for them. And the only way they could do better than that would be end up in the Big Ten. But the Big Ten has no interest in Pitt because they already have the Pittsburgh market. So I think we've talked about that before. Unfortunately for Pitt, the Big Ten will probably never happen. And that really, the SEC is not an option, which means the Big 12 is the next best, right? Or else you sit around in the ACC waiting for things to crumble around you. We saw how that worked out for Oregon State and Washington State, Stanford, and Cal.
Still looking. Chris, my last one, and Dave can finish up with you. So Pittsburgh and Boston people have kind of a common enemy in John Henry because, well, the Penguins are owned by Fenway Sports Group and they own the Red Sox, and the Red Sox aren't doing anything, and the Red Sox fans really are angry at John Henry. I'm not sure if Pittsburgh fans are as angry, but what is the feeling about the Penguins, and how do Penguin fans feel about the Cup being in Las Vegas with the Golden Knights?
Well, we've pressed pause, I think, a little bit on storming PPG Paints Arena with pitchforks and torches looking for John Henry or anybody else with an FSG polo on, because they went out and they got Carlson, and that's just enormous. I mean, Carlson and Letang, one of the two of them will be on the ice like 80% of the time.
Yeah.
If they don't have a 30% power play, it'll be embarrassing. They should be ashamed of themselves. So that's one thing. I think people expect the team to be back in the playoffs this year, bare minimum. If not, get me a couple of wins in the a couple of series wins in the playoffs. Wow. The goal has to be now in the final few years of Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and now Carlson, although he's a few years younger, get me back to a cup final. That's my expectation anyway. Maybe that standard is too high, but I think that's the only reason you go after an Erik Karlsson is to get our guys back to a cup final before you break up the band.
Oh boy.
Do
we have the goaltending to do this?
Well, we won't know. We won't know until the middle of April. You can't. Tristan Jarry could go 82-0 with a .00 goals against average. He could pitch 82 shutouts, and we're still all going to sit there and wait for the middle of April in the first round of the playoffs.
Bet the over.
Yeah, exactly.
Just bet overs.
Oh my God.
Right.
So, all right. That concluded the hockey talk part of the show. Last question. We're coming to that game, December 7th.
Okay.
All right. Say, if this happens, where are we got to go to dinner? All right. Perrault is a foodie.
Yeah.
He loves good food. He's a big barbecue guy and all that other stuff.
Barbecue, okay.
Different.
Steak.
Doesn't have to be barbecue.
What about Italian, Matt? Can we do Italian?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
I'm happy
Papa J's in the Strip. They got a place. They got a place in Carnegie too, but I love the joint down in the Strip.
Perfect.
The guy that runs the place is super nice. Like personally welcomes you when you walk into the restaurant. Sit down. All the pasta's homemade. It's beautiful. Manja. It's fantastic.
Chris,
yeah, we'll do it. Chris, we'll see you hopefully this season. If not, we'll see you back on BVB, I'm sure, at some point during the year. Thank you for the time. Good to have you on.
Sounds good, boys. We'll talk soon.
Thanks,
It's Chris Mack, the Chris Mack on Twitter, to go and follow him. That was a lot of fun to get him on. Look at that. 2 guests in one day. In, out, easy peasy. Good stuff.
Show's really coming together, Pepper. It's really coming together. A couple all-stars on this squad right here.
Yeah, we're rolling. It's good stuff. All right, so let's roll into the Circa Sports schedule of the day because, well, we'll go from Pittsburgh right to Pittsburgh. Circa Million, Circa Survivor. Man, were we busy this weekend, and we're going to be really busy coming up Thursday and Friday. We are live from Circa Sports 4 Million and Survivor weekend from 11 to 1-ish or so Pacific. We'll be live upstairs in the ballroom at Circa Sports for the Million and Survivor. It's 5 picks against the spread for Million. Survivor, it's 1 team. All you do is win and advance. Stay alive. Your share of 8 million in Survivor, 6 million for Circa Million. For more information, log on to circasports.com. We are going into 32 teams and 32 shows. NFL team of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers, like we mentioned. 8.5 is the win total. Minus 150 at BetMGM. We're getting expensive.
They will not move that number. I don't know why. Just move it to 9. Take the lumps if it falls 9. Who in the hell wants to walk into a joint and pay minus 150 on a season win total? I get to hold the money as the book for 4 months, and you got to lay to 150. I just don't understand it, but that's the number.
Expensive. Reasons to be excited. Kenny Pickett is expected to take a big step forward in year number 2. And the defense could be the best in the AFC. It's possible. The defense is going to fly around. Now, the schedule is going to be difficult. Pittsburgh plays 8 teams that made the playoffs last season. And 3 of the last 4, when you're coming down the stretch trying to contend for a playoff berth, 3 of the last 4 are on the road.
That I don't like. For
Pittsburgh. That's not fun. So let's go over the schedule here for the Pittsburgh. And by the way, I should have showed him the fun little Pittsburgh, but I didn't do that. By the way, did you see this guy's the Chiefs? That's the
come
Chiefs.
on. What is that?
It's a lion. It's the Chiefs.
It is a lion.
I don't know.
He's not a chief.
I still like that guy. That guy's fun. I like him. He's cute. Okay, here's your schedule for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I love it. I love the Packer rodent, whatever the heck that is, a mouse or
a mouse,
field mouse.
It's your favorite. You keep telling us.
I like it. It's cute. All right, San Francisco opens up the season in Pittsburgh.
Win. Steelers are winning the game. They're winning that game.
All right, they're going 1-1 to start. They're either winning San Fran and losing Cleveland or losing Cleveland.
Monday night at home. Tomlin on Monday nights. Are you not familiar with his records on Monday night in prime time? They're winning that game too.
So they're losing the Niners. So they're losing the Niners then. 1-1.
I got 2.
At Las Vegas here.
This is where they trip up.
I disagree. It's going to be a GD home game.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be crazy, but
it's going to be bonkers.
End up with an aggravating loss. I already can feel it.
Yeah, they win here.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, they win here. They win at Houston.
They open up 3 both.
Yeah, they open up 3-1.
I have 3-1 with a different path.
Yep, they lose to Baltimore
at home.
Yep.
No, they're winning that game.
Steelers are beating you
4-1 before the break. Why is it bye so early?
Really early. I have them 4-1. I have them 3-2 at the bye. at the Rams after the bye.
Oh, they're good off the bye.
Yeah,
They'll be
win.
all right.
Easy.
5.
I have 4.
5 wins. That game's in L.A. We know people in L.A. We might have to go to that game in L.A.
At Jacksonville. Sorry, home for Jacksonville. Sorry, home for Jacksonville.
They're going to lose that game.
Boy. Yeah, I agree. But they beat Tennessee.
On Thursday night at home? You're
Yeah.
damn right they do. That's 6. Is that
have
Tennessee mascot coming? He ain't going to make it through the whole game. That Tennessee mascot is not going to. If he comes on the road, he should stay home.
I don't have the Tennessee mascot. Let's see.
6
I have
wins.
5. Home for Green Bay. God, that 3 games in a row at home. Look at that schedule. That you almost have to win all those 3, given what's going to happen.
I think they win the Green Bay game too. That's 7 wins.
I have 6.
7
At Cleveland.
No, they lose that game.
Last. I agree. At Cincy.
Damn it. No, they lose that game too. I still got 7.
Home for Arizona.
Come on, bro. 8.
Yeah, I have 7. Home for the Patriots.
You already know. Hold on. What are you shaking your head for?
7. Patriots win that game.
Patriots win that game?
Yep. At Indy win.
I got 9 already.
And you lose
New
out.
England, they win. Is it New England 9? And then Patriots or Colts is 10.
I have 8.
I got 10.
I have 8 and they lose out. Home for Cincy, at Seattle, at Baltimore.
They lose to Cincy on
They
a
lose
Saturday
at Seattle
afternoon at home.
They lose at Seattle and they lose at Baltimore. That is a brutal. You play Thursday after Sunday, then you're at Indy, then you're home for Joe Burrow, then you're across the country to Seattle, then you're coming all the way back to play Baltimore on the road.
They get the long week for that Colts game. They're winning that Colts game.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And they lose out.
That's over. The number should be 9.
It should be 9. I probably would. I can see 9.
I mean, they just missed with the 8.5. It just keep juicing it.
But 9 and 8 is legitimate. Like I would bet 9 and 8. Yeah. But that's not the margin. The margin is a coin flip.
Let's ask the chat. We got a nice crowd in here again today. Thank you, boys and girls, for being here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We're trying our best. We're getting guests. We're doing this thing. We're doing the millions. Story today, schedule today. You got over, you got under. Steelers schedules right there. Let's make the number 9. That's more of a skill shot. 9 is a push
for me. They go 9 and 8.
What's the top?
11.
I think maybe. I think the top might be 10. I may have given them all the games that they're going to get.
Like if you go San Fran, Cleveland, Vegas, Houston, they open up 4-0. So they beat Baltimore. They're 5-0 at the break, right? They're going to go 6-0.
I'm just warning you now. The show is going to take a complete turn if the Steelers are 5-0.
That's good. It's a good turn.
It's going to be amazing. Oh, it's going to be fun.
Oh,
there's
sure.
no question. I don't think there's a chance in hell they're 5-0. But man, that's going to be a fun damn October if they're 5-0 on a bye week after that.
I think it's completely impossible. But
okay,
so I think they'll open 6-0 because they'll win on the road at LA. I think they'll beat the Rams. Rams are going to suck.
And then they got 3 home games.
Right, which then I think everything could fall apart. That's the worry, right? I mean, but they could open up. It's not crazy. They could open up 7-1. It's not crazy.
Wow.
8-1. They could open up 8-1, okay, and then end the year 10-7.
Oh, that's just rude of you.
It's just a fact.
Would be
at Cleveland, at Cincy, at Indy, at Seattle, at Baltimore. They could win 2 of those games. They might win 1 of those games. And then they have Cincinnati at home, Patriots at home. They could lose both those games.
Man, oh man.
So that's going to be they're going to be from basically the 19th of November on. All those games except Indy and Arizona are 1-score games. Those are coin flip games on either side.
Damn you. I hate when you're right like that with my team. I don't like that.
But
accurate.
They're all going to be tight football games. So it could go their way. They could have a magical season. If it all falls right, they could wind up going 12-5. And you're like, holy crap, they're the 2 seed going into the playoffs. But if it all falls apart, could be the other way around.
Jeez, all the boys in the chat put over to 9
It's
is
hard
a push.
It's hard to make a case.
One person said under.
Yeah, it's hard to make a case for the under. I mean, you could. I think you're really struggling. You're looking for something if you want to make an under bet there. You're expecting injuries. You're expecting, a lot of things to happen that probably right now are not going to happen. Okay, time for the Brigade Proxy and Pro Football Story of the day. 702-570-8255. Jeremy this morning gave us a text message to sign up. We appreciate you doing that, sir. We'll see you on Sunday here in town to sign up for both the Westgate Super Contest and the Circa Million. He's doing them both, and we can handle both. And we can hook you up. We can take you around, hook you up, and get you all revved up and good to go for this football season. Text us and let us know, because we're going to be a little busy this weekend with Thursday, Friday, and Saturday being Circa Million weekend and Circa Survivor weekend. So live show Thursday, Friday, if you've not heard. Story of the day. Ravens 24-game win streak is on the line tonight. Baltimore's -1.5.
Is it CBW or CDW that tagged us on the Twitter with the soundbite of the guy saying what he said this morning?
And it's one reason why I bet it.
I love that. Please do that. If you want other people to see it on the Twitter, put a dot or a word in front of the tags for us. Say like, hey, Sports BK and Sig, Sports Talk Matt, and then put what you want to put, and everybody will see it. But I appreciated what he said, which is basically,
who gives a fuck?
Thank you. I like when you say it too. Seriously, he said it perfectly. Preseason game. You really like Washington tonight because of that?
It's not the only reason why I like Washington tonight.
Oh, okay.
They're playing the third and fourth string quarterbacks. Baltimore is. This is not a dress. This is not dress. No, Huntley and Lamar are not dressing. They're not playing. Like Lamar. I mean, I believe when you read Harbaugh say, "I don't care about the streak," and he says it publicly, you can say, "Well, he's just saying that publicly." No, I actually believe him. I actually think that they've got bigger things to worry about right now. Correct. And I think in other years, doing well in the preseason meant getting the guys mentally ready to go for the season. He felt like there was some value in winning a preseason game to establish a culture of winning.
Yes.
I don't think he cares. They should have lost the last game. They won on a last-second field goal by 1 point.
At some point, it almost becomes like a silly burden distraction.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'd rather lose it just to get out of the way. I think they're tired of being asked about it.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're done.
And then, we're in a content space with the gambling. And everyone's talking about it. Even now, content people that are becoming gambling people because they have to talk about it. What do you talk about on a Monday night? You talk about baseball, or do you talk about the Ravens streak? Good luck.
I think it's a flip. I think the flip is for Washington. I think it's a bigger deal. Them winning tonight, they're trying to do what the Ravens have done: establish culture, show that they can win games, get their fan base excited. It's a bigger game to Washington. That's why I think Washington wins. They're at home. It's a bigger game for them. I took the 1.5 points just because.
What's the total right now?
37.5 was the total this morning.
The total is.
If you want to get really crazy, and I'm not telling anyone to do this, but you could do this.
What are you doing?
You could tease this to 7.5 and take the total down to 31.5 and bet the over.
Hold on. Timeout. 20-second timeout. You want to tease a preseason game?
Just saying, if you really want to be involved, you could tease. You could do this, and I would feel pretty comfortable with this. This is going to be, if the Ravens win, I don't see the Ravens winning by more than 3 points.
Do that winning margin bet instead of the teaser.
You could do that.
The preseason.
But only FanDuel offers that. If you're not in a book, if you don't have a FanDuel book, or you're not access to FanDuel, you can't do that. FanDuel has the book where you can 1 to 13 margin of victory is plus 165 for the Ravens and plus 175 for the Commanders.
Okay. Could you call your shot and call this a tie? JC from KC said this could be a tie game tonight.
I'm on plus 1.5. I'm good with that. Go ahead. I took the points. So
bet the tie.
I'm on plus 1.5. So
what
I'm good with that.
What in the hell is going on right
it's
now?
It's possible. 17-15 was the final in Washington's first game. And a 1.2019, I think the final was for the win. So you tease it down. Both those scores are over 31.5.
God, what are we doing?
So just saying. I'm just saying, if you want to be involved in this tonight, it's just I didn't do it. I'm just saying it's an option.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead and do that. I'm not recommending it. I didn't bet it. Just if you would
so is dipping mozzarella cheese in ranch.
Fine. But people have heard Minty Bets come on today and say she loves doing it. So people do it. You can tease a preseason game. It is allowed if you would like to do that. Okay, couple of quick things before we get to better to book it.
Yeah.
Harbaugh, self-imposed 3-game suspension is going to start immediately.
That's good.
Matter or not?
Zero.
It means absolutely
zero
nothing.
Matters.
It means nothing.
Did you see the 3 games?
Yes, they're cupcakes. He's going to coach the Rutgers game. Look out. He was worried about those Scarlet Knights. Be careful on that. And then before we do better to book it, Caesars has pulled out of their partnership with Raynham Park in Massachusetts. Today, the Massachusetts Gaming Commission had a hearing for Raynham Park's application for a Category 2 sports betting license, which means they're trying to become a book on their own. Caesars decided to not run that sports book. What is going on in Massachusetts?
You've been to this place, right?
I have, but this was supposed to be a pretty big. This is now going on the 3rd book that is trying to operate out of there. That's not good. And technically, Betfred was supposed to be there before the launch. Really, it's its 4th book.
Right.
It was supposed to be there.
I've never been to this place, but when we go back there, you're going to take me out there and we're going to see this place.
Go see
I've been
Julian.
to many treks.
It's by Julian's house.
Okay. Well, I mean, we got to make sure Jules calls us back. Jules won't answer he's not answering my calls. I'm going to have to find out. Yeah, I mean, I've got to reach out to E and Emerson and see what's going on right there.
Jealous.
Well, I don't know what it is.
Jules getting jealous? Is Emerson's getting too much run on the show?
I don't know what's happening, but
wow.
Tracks and books, you would think, would make a natural mix.
Correct.
Okay? When I went to Wheeling, they said this would be a perfect place for a sports book because we had a dog track on the Wheeling Island Casino.
Okay.
And I went, do those people necessarily want to bet on sports? Like, what is the appeal? Like, are we going to get more people here because people are betting on sports and that will help the track? I didn't think so, but the guy that ran the dog track side of things insisted that this would be a good thing. You've been to Raynham Park. You know physically where it's at.
Yep.
They're trying to turn this into like Caesar's Palace Sportsbook. Like they want to build a big thing. And I keep telling people from the time when I was out at the M, you keep expanding these retail locations for what? Why do you do this, Perrault?
I think they believe that betting is going to be so popular that people will just have to be in a sports book. And that's just not the case. And so you have a racetrack, you have a casino with slot machines, not table games, but slot machines.
When you have this phone,
right? That's the problem. You're in between. Raynham Park is in between Boston and Providence. It would be. I'll say this, like I said it to you last night. I think if Fanatics were to go in there, you could do some cool things around Patriot game days.
Okay.
You could build like an experience that might bring people down there during Patriot games, but there's only 8-9 of those a year.
Correct.
So it's not like that's a regular occurrence all throughout the entire season or entire calendar years. It's going to bring people to Raynham Park. So getting people physically to go there is going to be a problem no matter who is in there. It's just not a big population site. It's why the Racino hasn't worked all that well. It's a bunch of blue hairs betting on the ponies.
Or playing the slots.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing. They're not looking at the Baltimore-Washington game tonight, and they definitely don't care about the Red Sox and the Astros game. Maybe that would be the only baseball game.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only one they care about, right?
But they don't care about the rest.
No.
Have you seen any of Linehan's tweets today?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's going well for Raynham Park.
Or Jessica, what is her name? Wellman?
Yeah, Jessica Wellman, right, from Katina.
They're doing an unbelievable job live tweeting. Yeah. The Massachusetts Gaming Control Board, whatever they are doing an unbelievable job. They are holding these people accountable. it's fascinating. If you guys are interested in this at all or in that area and want to know who might be going in, let us know, because I don't think they have a clue.
No, they don't. I mean, in getting the license, I mean, there's a lot of holes. Raynham Park opened in 1940, and it's been going for a long time.
1940?
Yeah. And so that's part of the problem. There's a lot of they're asking all the right questions about how did it start and who started it and where did it go? Like they're going through the whole history of the property as to how it got to where it is today. And there's a lot of holes in the story as to how it got to where it is today. And that's not boding well for the license. So they're going to need a third operator to go in there. They're going to need some book that wants to go in there and build. I think about the guy who got the call from Caesars to go in there and renovate and rebuild and design the sports book, and then got the phone call from Caesars saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, that $500,000 spend we were going to do with you, yeah, we're not doing that anymore." And the guy's like, "Wait a minute, I planned out all these different, I hired all these people. We were going to have the biggest job down on the South Shore. This is huge. No, we're not doing it anymore." Oh, I feel for the construction people. I feel for the people that thought they were going to have a big score, and it got pulled.
I was that guy in Wheeling. Ooh. I went to Wheeling, and we started doing interviews and putting people through HR and hiring people. And the casino spent $400,000 to turn the country bar into a sports book. They put the screens in, they put the counter in. We helped with the whole thing, made suggestions. They took most of them. They didn't take some of them. And then I am going, software doesn't work. What am I going to do here? I didn't tell anybody. I think it was it was one of the most stressful times of my life because my wife and daughter stayed in Vegas.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm sitting there for 12 hours a day in West Virginia going, what did I do? Why did I do this? And I lasted 8 weeks. I left before it opened. It opened a month and then closed. So I have, you said that, and I was thinking, well, I feel for that poor guy too, or poor girl, because you make all these plans, big spend. You paint a picture. This is your Picasso. Let's put this together and do it large and big. And then pull the rug out, pull the football like Lucy and go, we're not doing it now. Where does Raynham Park go from here, though?
I don't know. I'm not sure they know. Because you're hoping that FanDuel or DraftKings wants it, but they've already said no. They've already passed on it. DraftKings sure as heck ain't going in there. DraftKings is doing everything in Boston. And WinBet's not doing anything, obviously. Encore wants to give it away. They don't want to have it. BetMGM is in Western Mass. They don't want it. FanDuel has shown no interest in it. So you're running out of operators. Fanatics is like their last hope.
Hail Mary. It's literally a Hail Mary.
If they don't want it, if Fanatics doesn't want it, that property may just sit there for a while until somebody figures out what to do with it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's been open since 1940 without a sports book.
Right.
It'll stay open without a sports book.
But it's dying. I mean, horse tracks in Boston have been dying. It's the last one. I mean, Suffolk Downs is gone. I'm blanking on the other one that's gone. But there were 3. Now there's 1. So it's aging population. People don't go there anymore.
Right.
Kids aren't going to the track.
It's still fun. Like, I like taking the kids to the track, like in Del Mar and Santa Anita. I've done that, but I don't know if I'd take them to Raynham Park.
No, I don't. No, not no.
No, okay.
No, I would not be. No, I would not. I would not take them to Raynham Park. Forgot the proxy stinger, but that's fine. You guys will avoid the proxy stinger. I forgot to play that for the Brigade Proxy stinger.
You want to play it right now, just for the people?
Just for the fun. Yeah, I should have done that. Better to book it time. Dave likes it. He bets it. He doesn't. He books it. Washington plus 1.5 tonight against the Baltimore Ravens.
I've booked every bet you've made in the preseason so far.
I'm 2-3, by the way, in that. So I'm losing, but I'm not that
ahead.
far.
I know.
A little bit. You're a little bit.
I don't want to even change it, but I think you're right with all of this. This is the night that the streak ends. Washington wins the game. Let's go with betting it.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Let's see what happens.
You'll have to text me the score.
Red Sox money line. Keep it going against Houston. Get a W. Paxton on the hill. Got a lefty against those left-handed bats for Houston. Red Sox beat writers said that that's the loosest the clubhouse has been all year after sweeping the Yankees. They're going to Houston, and they know that they're 3 games behind in the loss column to Houston. Not saying they're going to sweep them, but if they do, they're tied with Houston, and they'll be in the second wild card spot. They'll be right there.
You were ready to stop talking about baseball a month ago. They're reeling you back in. Now you're betting them.
Blood. It's in my blood.
Away from them. I know.
Well,
I'm wearing the baseball stuff every day.
It's a plus money spot. It's a good spot for the Red Sox coming off the sweep, and they're hot right now. They shouldn't have won that game yesterday. That was a gift. Okay, they should have lost that. They got the overturned call at home plate and won the game in the top of the 9th inning. When those things are going right, you're running right. Red Sox money line plus money.
Good case. I think you're right. I say bet it. I think this is the game of the series they win. I like them today. Tomorrow the matchup is Houck against Verlander. They're going to lose that game.
Yeah, not good.
They're going to lose that game right now,
yeah.
And then we'll determine what they do on Wednesday. But good call.
Yeah. I agree. And then finally, I'm going over 10 Mets and the Braves today.
Over 10 Mets and Braves today. Pitching matchup. Peterson and is that Damian Wayans? Winans?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's
one of the Wayans brothers is pitching now for the Braves.
It's an opener.
Oh,
these teams have been scoring against each other, including one game where the Braves scored 21 runs.
I was going to say this is the 20 game.
Yeah, they scored 21, 21-3.
Over the.
Finally, Braves offense, Braves team total. It's been a frustration to kind of watching like what's going on with the Braves. Why aren't the Braves scoring more runs? But I think today they score a bunch.
So is that you have 3 plays?
That's it. Yep.
So I say bet all 3. I haven't done this in a while. This is
Sorry.
They say bet all 3.
You did, yes.
Oh boy. All right. That's worked before.
Yes.
That's part of the show. Sometimes we're on the same page. Other times I just listening to you, like when you talked about, somebody getting hurt and all that other stuff. You didn't have to do that earlier. I'm still a little bit pissed off about that, but that's okay.
It happens. TJ Watt gets hurt every year.
Not getting hurt.
It happens every year. It's not like I'm making a proclamation. It's pretty much like a consistent thing. How many games will he miss? That's the question.
Every time you say this, like for the no-hitters when we do the sports grid together, it broke up the no-hitter. Stop saying TJ Watt's going to get hurt because you've been right.
If you use the same knowledge, well, I've been wrong. I said no-hitter, and then they don't get a no-hitter. So if I'm saying he's getting hurt, and he doesn't get hurt. So
I just hope like if he gets hurt, it's just like get dinged up and miss a game. They can withstand a game or 2.
Yeah, which game?
1 or 2 games that could end up with a losing record, and then they're not going to even come close to making it. I just want them close to making the playoffs.
They're going to be close to making the playoffs. Yes, they're going to be in the conversation. AFC is not that deep, so yeah. Chiefs are coming back down to earth. Chargers are the Chargers.
Now you've said stuff on a show. You said Raynham Park pulled out.
Yeah,
and I almost went right. And then you just said, what did you say? And it had another reference. I can't even. I just heard it. I can't
the AFC East. The AFC is not that deep.
Not that deep. They're balls deep. What are you talking about?
Okay, talk about the top teams. Chiefs having a down year. Bengals have a hurt quarterback. Keep going. Bills are going to have a down year. What the people think because it's the Bills.
Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
Don't buy it for a second.
Jacksonville Jaguars are winning 12 games.
Lot to prove still with the Jags.
Baltimore Ravens, Lamar on a revenge mission.
I like it, but I mean, it's okay. That's one team that I like a lot.
7 teams. That's deep.
And there's questions with all of them. I mean, big questions with all of them.
I think the AFC's way better than the NFC. No,
well, maybe, but I mean, I think the Eagles are the defending champs for the NFC. they're going to be very good. The Cowboys are going to be decent if Dak stops throwing interceptions. The Niners are going to be very difficult to deal with. I mean, with that defense, it could be their time. This could, if Brock Purdy stays healthy, it could be them with what they're going to try to do. I think the North is going to be better than people think. There's some teams I think will rise up and be okay. And I think the South is going to have something to say. I think that South is going to be interesting. I don't think the gap is nearly as wide between the AFC and NFC as everyone thinks.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's not.
There's like three good teams total in the NFC.
I like Carolina. I like Atlanta.
Holy crap!
I think Tampa's going to stink, but I think there are teams in the NFC that are going to make some noise. And I think the Chiefs' weapons are a question. I think they're going to have some trouble. Last year, remember when they couldn't cover to save their lives? It's been that way for 2 years now.
Yeah.
That might get those games where they're not covering could be losses now for them. Chargers can stay healthy, but Chargers can win the division. It's possible. They just
never even mention them. Right.
They have to stay healthy. They just don't stay healthy. So just say
this is good. We're getting to football talk. We talked college football. We got a little pro football. I got to bet it for you.
Okay. Shoot.
Before we Cubs -115 at Detroit. The way the Cubs are playing.
Who's
how
pitching?
Is that line? Assad is pitching.
That's why.
What are you talking about? He's winning. The Cubs are winning. Better to book it.
Who's going for the Tigers?
Alfredo.
Oh.
Fado.
Yeah. Cubs. Yeah.
Fado. I think that's how you say his name. Fado.
I'm good with the Cubs. Okay, we got to wrap here before we do favorite thing about today. So we got to let go of our friends who are there at. If you guys are live on YouTube and on Twitter, stick around. For you guys on Sports Grid, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. If you ever want to watch this, go to our YouTube channel. You can watch us on YouTube at Boston versus the Book. Time for bonus time. Favorite thing about today is what?
Man, you know my favorite thing about today, but we can't talk about it right now.
Oh, that news? Yeah. We got news. I teased in the Discord channel that we're gonna have news, but you know how bureaucrats and lawyers are. So they said, hey, you can't say this yet. I said, all right, fine. So
I was so excited to say it today.
Yeah,
I was driving home and the texts were coming, and I was like, oh man, how am I gonna sit on this for we got to get.
It's good news. It's not huge news. It's not like earth shattering, but it's good news.
No, but it's exciting, and it's exciting. So that was my favorite thing about today. In addition to two great guests, Minty, awesome, Mac, awesome, and my middle kid is at freshman college orientation. I cannot believe it. I literally had that aha dad moment where I literally leaned over to my wife. We were sitting next to each other, and then the girls were sitting next to each other on the other side of her. I got the end, by the way. Do you always sit on the end when you go?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Like Kendall sat on the end, and Jessica, to her defense, said, "Get up, Daddy sits on the end." And I was like,
nice.
Damn right. Thank you. But I leaned over to my wife and I said, big one's 2 years in. I said, this one's just starting. Do you believe it? And she's like, no. And she kind of got like choked up a little bit. Like, and then I looked around and I said, she's only in 4th grade. We got time. I said, but 2 kids asked her where to go while we were walking around, asked Kendall.
Right.
She's dressed like a college kid. She got a UNLV t-shirt on,
nice,
baggy pants and stuff, and her Jordans.
Nice.
And I was watching the 2 of them walk from behind them. And I said to Jess, I'm like, she may hit us with she's just going to skip high school and go to college. It was awesome, man. It's as a parent, there's so many things you got ahead of you with a 9-year-old. There's so many people that watch the show that have experienced it with their kids on the back end now. And, we got guys having kids next week. Mr. C's still due. She didn't have the baby yet. It's fun, man. It's just another milestone. So far, awesome. Favorite thing.
The 2 guests today were awesome. The Discord channel is a lot of fun to be inside of it. I think you guys are doing an awesome job. We're going to blow that thing up for football season. We have a lot going on. We have a lot going on.
Who's in your house?
I told you, people upstairs doing work. They're banging on things. They're dropping things on the how. It's just, I got to go figure out what the hell's going on upstairs. Got to go up there and be like, what are you guys doing? But the weather, the weather's fine. So there was like, they're going to cancel it. And then I got a text this morning and they're like, hey, we're on because there's no problems. I was like, okay, we're on. So see you at 2. And then they showed up at 12. And I was like, what the hell are you doing here? So yes, you can't like yell at people. You're like, yeah. So anyways, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the brigade. Thank you for being the Discord channel. Those are my favorite things about today.
Friday.
Dave's going back to UNLV. I'm going to knock all this stuff down and post all of it. And then I got a ton of stuff I got to do this afternoon. Be back tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe the lawyers say we can talk about what we're going to talk about. We could have an announcement tomorrow or any day this week. Could have a fun announcement. Dave,
Live
Matt,
Thursday, Friday.
Live Thursday, Friday at Circa. Big shows Thursday and Friday.